It is Monday, May 12th. It is the day after Mother's Day. I hope everybody had a wonderful Mother's Day. Happy belated to those mothers out there and mother mentors that are out there. Thank you all for being here. It is spring and I'm enjoying some good weather where I'm at. I hope that you all are getting spring where you are. I see Eric's in the house. Hello, Eric. I believe Michelle is away today. She won't be joining us. So it's just Eric and I, and we hope that you are joining us for some fun this morning. We are still celebrating Mother's Day around here at artbeads.com. We've got a little Mother's Day event going on. If you haven't seen this, you can go to artbeads.com and there is a banner on the screen that tells you all about the fun things that you can take advantage of today, but only through today. We have a Mother's Day event that allows you to get double your rewards points. So those of you who are rewards members, you can get double your points today. And I'm sure that excites all of you that are rewards members. So if you're not, if you click on that banner on the screen on the website, you will get a place where you can check out what the program is all about, and you can sign up. And if you sign up, you get 500 points, which is amazing. So yeah, so that's one thing. The other thing that you can take advantage of today is a gift with purchase. And this gift with purchase, you are not going to want to miss. It is a little variety pack of Raven's Journey check glass beads. So if you've watched the design team here at artbeads.com, we all love working with Raven's Journey check glass beads. They are all incredibly lovely, and you will get a little gifty bag of those little beads in your purple paper wrapped package when you get all of your fun gifts home to you today from shopping today. So don't miss out. This is going on through the end of today only. Oh my gosh, there's so many of you here. Let me go back and see who all has joined. Kara is here. Carolyn is here. Laura D says, good morning. It's raining in Central Florida. I would love a little rain, Laura. I wouldn't mind that at all. Tanya says hello. Mary B says hello. Hazel says hi, everyone. Piper says hi, everyone. Kim Caldwell says, enjoying her homemade chai latte this morning. Ooh, Kim, send some my way. That sounds delicious. Hannah says hello from Iceland. Hello, Hannah. Santa Barbara Girl says good morning. Mary Jane says it's snowing in Oregon, Prineville, Oregon. Wow, okay. That seems a little much for May 12th, but you know, it will pass and you'll get some spring too. Mary Jane, I'm hopeful for that. Kim says good morning. Joan from Phoenix says good morning. Hi, Joan. Linda Emery says hello. Lisa in PA says, you're so happy we're here. So thank you guys for being here. As I said, there is a special Mother's Day event going on through the end of today. So we're still celebrating the moms through the end of today. Don't miss those fun, exclusive little things that are going on and you can take advantage of today. Whew, I'm going to grab a sip of coffee because this is like the first time I've talked today. Okay, so before we get into what we're doing today, just a little bit of a reminder, if you're watching at artbeads.com/live, that's the most interactive way to watch this show. So you can say hello, you can chat with Eric and I. Oh gosh, Connie is in Hawaii. Hello, Connie, aloha. That's the most interactive way to participate. So you can chit chat with us, you can share the love by clicking on the heart icon, and you can shop the show. So for those of you who have never done that, maybe been a little nervous to shop the show, there is a shopping bag icon on the screen. You can see everything that's in the show. So all the products I'm working with, the tools, the findings, all of the good stuff. You can click on that at any time. I don't go away. You can still hear me, still see me, and you can start dropping things into your shopping cart. You might want to do that and check out before the end of the show, because sometimes things that are in live shows sell out quickly. So what else can I tell you? If you see the little pop-ups, the little shoppable pop-ups throughout the course of the show, you can click on those as well. That will also allow you to see everything about that product and drop it into your shopping cart. And you can even do that if you're watching this show on replay. So we hope that you'll take advantage of all of the fun things that we have for you today. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. Let's get into what we're talking about today. Before I flip, we're going to talk about anklets today. So if you've watched my show from the beginning, you may have noticed I did an anklet show last year. This is a 2.0 anklet show, and I love anklets. I live in Arizona, so I can wear anklets pretty much 8 to 10 months out of the year. And I believe that if you can adorn it, you should. Your ears, your wrists, your neck, and your ankles. So, I know a couple of you are getting rain and snow, and it might be cold where you are, but summer and warmer weather is coming. So we want you to be ready. We want you to be prepared. I would like for you to start working on your summer anklets now, so you'll be ready for it. And you can maybe even make some for friends of yours. So, your BFF, your sister, your mom, your brother, whoever is one that wants to adorn the ankle. So I'm going to flip my camera down. I'm going to show you a couple of anklets I made last year. So I thought it might be fun just to revisit these guys. So last year we did one of my favorite designs, and that is working with a tube bead as your focal. Unfortunately, tube beads are out of stock, so I couldn't really make one of these in today's show, but I used it for a way to show off that tiny little shell bead. And we used some check glass and seed beads, and we used some beautiful blues and clears. For this design, we used a little mermaid charm, which is adorable, and some different check glass. We made our own extender chain, which we'll talk about extender chains, and we had some fun with this one. So these have been in my personal collection for a year. These have been to the beach with me, and they're super fun to work with and to wear and layer as well if you want to do that. So what is Kim saying? Just made a coin pearl anklet bracelet for my daughter yesterday. Awesome. So Kim is in the same camp. She wants to be ready for that warmer weather and showing off a little bit of jewelry on the ankle. That's very cool. Your daughter is going to be styling with something handmade by you. Hello, Marlene. Good morning. So before we make some anklets, I want to show you a few things that I've already made. I always like to give you lots of ideas. This one might be my favorite. This one is a brand new anklet I just made, and I've got some beautiful check glass here. So the check glass in this anklet is a fire polish bead. It is a 4 millimeter, and it's a light blue luster. So it's just a hint of light blue. And I used demi rounds for my spacers. So you may have seen me feature some demi rounds throughout the course of the year in my projects. They're kind of a flatter version of a seed bead, and they kind of have a heishi appearance. So these are Toho. Let me set this down. I can show you the package. These are Toho demi rounds. They are size 11, and they are in transparent crystal. So these are perfect to drop in your cart today, because these will go with all of the things. So all of your anklets, all of your fun bracelets. These are amazing spacers, and you get a cajillion of them. Well, not a cajillion, but it looks like a cajillion. So thank you, Sandra. So these are really great as spacers, and I used them in trios in between my fire polish beads. And then for my little focal section of my anklet, I've got three things. One is this incredible Hill Tribe silverfish charm. He is adorable. Like, this fish charm gives me all the feels. He is so cute. And I think this would be fine just on its own. Just a simple charm. But we didn't stop there. I also added this fun Art Bead sterling silver small starfish charm. This is smaller, so if you don't want to quite go as big, this one is a little more subtle and super, super cute. It's one-sided, but it's super fun. And this, to me, looks like a drop of water. And guess where I found this bead? I found this bead in one of the mystery bags, which is also in the show today. So if you've gotten one of those amazing mystery bags, you've probably been through it. You may have seen some teardrop beads. This is a check glass teardrop bead, and it is side drilled, so you can just string it right on to your anklet or a bracelet or a necklace. And this looks like a drop of water. So I thought this little trio of things was so reminiscent of going to the beach or seaside, maybe even to a large lake somewhere. But this is just such a fun combination of things and such a really beautiful anklet. So I'm going to talk about anklets and putting them together in just a little bit, but I'm giving you some ideas to work with to get started. And Santa Barbara girl, he looks fantastic in your anklet. Thank you for the pun. I can rely on you, girl, to give me all of the fun puns for our show. I'm hanging with you to give me all the puns. Hello, Ruby. Welcome, welcome. All right, here's something fun. So these beads may be my new favorites. You know, I have lots of favorites and I change my favorites frequently. But these beads, I have them in two sizes here on two different bracelets. These are check glass 6mm and 4mm suede gold capri blue round beads. They are incredible. So let's look at this one first. These are the 4mm. And oh, by the way, I've got some Toho demi rounds in 11.0 in the nickel color. Also a great staple to have. So drop those in your cart because these are fantastic as spacers for all the things, your anklets, your bracelets, everything. And these suede gold capri blue rounds are luminescent. They are ethereal. They are an incredible color of blue. And of course, I had to add a charm here. This is a tiara cast sand dollar charm, and it is so detailed and lovely. One of my favorite tiara cast pieces. So look at the detail on it. It's gorgeous. So that's our focal, just a simple simple anklet with the suede blue and the beautiful detailed charm of that sand dollar. Hi, Susie in South Florida. And Santa Barbara girl, what did you say? You said you love those little pearl-like beads. They do look like little pearls. Nancy's here from Michigan. She says, good morning. Happy Monday from beautiful Michigan. Okay, so this is the 4mm, but look at this in 6mm. And they look a little bit darker, but they look so good together. So if you want to try some layering of anklets, this is a way you can do it. This one is a strung piece with a clasp, and this is stretchy. Yes, you can do stretchy anklets. And this, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but I used some Stretch Magic. I believe I've got some Stretch Magic in the show today. Maybe not this exact one, but I use some Stretch Magic stretch cord. And if you do it right, you do your knotting right and add a little bit of glue, this is a great layered look on your ankle. These matching beads are divine. These beads are truly an incredible shade of blue with a little bit of a gold luster and matched with some nickel and antique silver. Wow, this is a cool combination. So much fun. So, yeah, this is very, very, very cool and a very fun pair of anklets. So those are two that I made already. And before we do our projects, let me give you a few other ideas for pieces and parts. So this charm is adorable. This is also an Art Beads sterling silver charm, and it is a silver sterling silver sun and fish square charm. Look at the detail. The fish is swimming under the ocean and the sun is shining down. This is a gorgeous little charm, and for proportion, next to our 6mm beads, this is what it looks like. What do you guys think of this one? It's cute, huh? I've used these square pieces from Art Beads before. I used a little connector in a bracelet, and it's a bracelet I wear all the time. I love the square little charm. It's so cute. You could use it for other things too. Now, if you're not a beachy person, but you're more of a sail the sea kind of person, look at this sailboat shaped charm. This is sterling silver as well by Art Beads. It's got a loop like this, so you can slide this on to your stringing wire. You can also use it as a charm for a necklace. I think it's great for a bracelet. I see some hearts. Thank you guys. Look at how cute that would look next to these beautiful 6mm check beads. Gorgeous, gorgeous, nice and shiny. So if you do sailing or you know someone who does some sailing in the summer, you're going to be ready with this charm. I love that one. And another sort of nautical themed one. This is so fantastic. The detail on this one is amazing. This is also sterling silver. It's an anchor charm. It is so cool. This one is a little bit bigger proportionately, but also very cool with a 6mm bead, maybe an 8mm bead. So good. So much detail. It's kind of got like a hammered effect, and then it's got some little rope around the top near the loop. Super duper cool charm. Then there's another fish charm, and this one I'm crazy about. This is the sterling silver happy fish charm, and he's got a loop that will allow you to string directly onto your stringing wire or your stretch cord. So very cool, and he is just a happy, cute fish. So if you're a fisherman or you know someone that is, or you just love the fish in the ocean, this guy is perfect for an anklet or a bracelet. And then I've got just a few other bead choices you might be interested in for your anklets. One might be this incredible bead strand. This is a check glass 6mm Capri Blue AB fire polish. This is a Starman strand. It is so incredible. So maybe you want that AB finish to make things stand out. This strand is luminous in a different way. This one is so fantastic. Really bright blue. Beautiful color, perfect for an anklet. And don't forget that you can also use seed beads for your anklets. This is an 8-0 seed bead, a Toho, and this is opaque spring sky blue. And it is it shows as opaque blue turquoise on the packaging, but this blue is such a beautiful blue. You could also string these up on stretch cord or on your stringing wire for your anklets. And one more, actually two more beads. If you want to go a little bit more on the green side, this is Bondi Blue. It's a 3mm check fire polish. And this to me is reading a little bit more green. So kind of mermaid green in my eyes, but really lovely, nice smaller bead if you want to go a little bit more subtle for your anklets. And then another seed bead choice if you really want to go green are these fiber optic beach glass green beads. These are Toho. They are precision cylinder icos, and they are absolutely beautiful. I don't want to take these out because they will get everywhere, but these fiber optic beads are so great. They look like sea glass. So if you want to go a little bit smaller for your anklets, these are perfect for a nice tiny anklet. And honestly, you don't even need to put a focal on it or a charm or anything. You could just do a little strand of these and it makes a nice subtle little anklet for you. Woo, okay, lots of ideas, but let's make something. So I'm gonna give you some advice. So the standard anklet, if you look it up on the World Wide Web, it will tell you that the standard size is 9 inches. I'm going to beg to differ on that. I believe your standard size is probably more like a 10 to 11 inch piece, but it will vary. So obviously the size of an ankle, just like the size of a wrist, is going to vary. So your ankle size is going to vary. Also, the size of your beads will vary. So a larger bead like this may mean you need a larger piece because these beads sit differently on your ankle than, say, a little small bead or a seed bead. So what I suggest is start with a 10 inch and make sure you have some bead stoppers handy, and you'll want to try on, sort of quasi try on your piece before you finish it. So you can do that by using your stoppers and also accounting for your clasp size. So if you're using a lobster, make sure you include that in your sizing of your anklet. Another thing that you can do is also think about measuring your ankle. So the web will also tell you you can measure your ankle and then add 1/4 to 1/2 inch to your design. If you do that, guys, just be aware that you may also want to consider how your anklet is going to hang and fit around your ankle. So you don't want necessarily your anklet to be super tight, especially if it's a piece on stringing wire, because you may risk moving a little bit. And, if you're dancing on the beach around a bonfire, you don't want to break your anklet. So you'll want it to have some extra movement. What I always suggest is putting your finger next to your ankle and wrapping around. So when you're sizing, make sure your finger is against your ankle, giving yourself a little bit of play. Now, for a stretch bracelet, sort of the same thing. You'll want to, maybe do a little bit of quasi measuring by taking your piece once you've strung on your beads, and you'll do it just like you're making a bracelet. You can string on and then grab your bead stoppers or hold tight to your piece and test it around your ankle. Now, a stretch bracelet, you sometimes want them to be tight. You don't want them to be super tight. And you also want it to roll onto your ankle, over your foot, onto your ankle, rolling it. So you want it big enough to be able to go over that ankle over the heel and onto your ankle. So play around with it. You can use a tape measure and you can, sort of build from there. But I always suggest testing. And if you don't have the person's ankle handy, so someone was saying they made a bracelet or an anklet for their daughter. If you know the size you're working with and you kind of have the vibe of how they would want their piece to hang, you can still probably make some judgment calls. But if you don't know, we've got the ability to add extenders and we have ways to extend the size. So that's my educational talk for anklets. We'll talk a little bit more about it as we go. And if you're making them for yourself, you can hold on to your pieces that fit you best. So I can tell you, this piece fits me wonderfully. And I believe this is a 10-inch anklet. I do have smaller ankles, but this one fits me perfectly and hangs just right around below my ankle bone, and just has a little bit of drape so that this little charm hangs nicely. This stretch fits me perfectly. So I like to have these close by, so when I'm making one for myself, I can use this as my measuring stick. Same with this. So if you need to have something around so you can see what size, keep that piece, just like a bracelet, keep that piece close by so you know what you're measuring against. You can also have a small ruler available to you for making your piece. All right, we're going to do something completely different to start with. I've got my little seashell here. We're going to do a chain. We're going to do a chain anklet. And this one, it has some really fun pieces and parts. So we're going to finish this one up. I got this started. And what I did was I took some really cool chain. So this is some of my favorite chain, and I believe this is in limited supply. This is an antique silver plated bubble circle chain. It's got 4.3 millimeter links, and it's sold by the foot. So if you get one piece of this chain, you can probably get at least one project out of it. And maybe you can use the rest of the chain for some chain and bead earrings. I did that in a show last year. You can always go back and watch that to see how to incorporate beads and chain together. So I measured out a piece of chain in my size, and I measured it to make sure that it will go around my ankle nicely. And what I did as my focal was I used this really beautiful little dolphin chain. So charm, who doesn't love a dolphin? Okay, this is a Tiara cast silver antique dolphin charm, and he is just cute. He is double-sided. I don't know why I'm saying he, but it is a little dolphin. And then I added some beads. So I've got some tiny little beads here, and we're just going to add a couple more. So I'm just going to show you how I thought about this piece and how you'll need to think about it if you want to do something similar. So what I did was wire wrapped those beads directly onto our little links, our little loop links, bubble links as they're called here. And I've got some incredible beads here. These are also some check fire polish beads, and these are 3 millimeter Capri Blue AB. So if you're going to Capri, or you would just like to go to Capri, these are amazing Capri Blue beads. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So I'm going to use some ball end head pins. So just some little 2 millimeter ball end head pins. We're going to wire wrap 2 more on. So you could do wire wrap beads all the way around if you would like, or just a little focal section of your anklet. I can go either way there. I love the idea of them going all the way around, but I also like the idea of just a little bit of a party that will sit on the outside of your ankle for people to see. So I'm going to take one of those fire polish. I'm going to put it onto my ball end head pin. And then I'm going to come up to make sure I give myself a large enough loop to go around those little bubbles. Those bubbles are fairly substantive in size. So you want to make sure that your loop is going to go around that and allow some movement of that little bead. So it's supposed to be a dangle. So we want to make it a dangle, and we want to make that loop a fairly large loop. And I'm going to pull that away, and I'm going to pick up my chain, and I'm going to see where I attached the previous one. So it does matter which place you wrap it. So I'm going to take my head pin, I'm going to drop it onto that little bubble. And I want to make sure, now see, I'm not in the right place. So let me get that out of there. It's hard to see this, but if you keep track of where you want that to go, you want it to go down onto that bottom one, because we want this to dangle just like the rest of them. So now I'm in the right spot, and I'm going to take my Zuron chain nose pliers that help me get into these small places, and I'm going to do wire wrapping right on to that little bubble of my chain. And if you are uncomfortable attaching and wire wrapping directly to the chain, you can always use a jump ring, guys. So if that is a much more comfortable way for you to do your wire wrapping, do that. So now I've got all of my little dangles going down the same way on my chain. Let's do that one more time. I'm going to grab another one of my beads and another head pin and drop that on. And then I'm going to find that place on my chain nose pliers to make sure I get a large enough loop. And I like to push my bead down and open up that loop and grab my bubble or my chain link and drop that right on to the chain. So it's sitting right there on the chain where I need it to be. I'm going to come in with my chain nose and get a few wraps around my bead and cut off my excess. And you might have to come in and fix your, kind of tighten up that end of your wire and straighten out your loop. And then looks like we've got everything. Yeah, we've got everything going in the right place. So look at that. It's just so fun and cute. All of these little things are going to dangle so nicely around your ankle. So let me grab my beads, get those out of the way, and get my excess wire out of the way, my excess chain out of the way. And I'm going to use a very simple lobster claw. Thanks for the heart, you guys. I'm going to use a very simple lobster claw, and I'm going to attach that with a jump ring. And I'm going to grab chain nose and bent chain nose. I've got my Zuron tools out today for my chain nose. And I'm going to open up my jump ring, and I'm going to take my lobster and add that. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. And then I'm going to attach that directly on to the end loop of my chain. And I'm going to come in and close that up, checking the tightness of that jump ring. So now I've got my lobster claw ready to go to attach to the other side. Now, I'm going to attach just a jump ring over here on this side, and that will be where I will attach my lobster claw. And so let me get a hold of my jump ring and open that up, come and attach that directly to the other side of my chain. And then we're going to close that up nice and tight. And now we have the cutest chain anklet with the cutest of dangle beads and little dolphin charms. That dolphin looks like it's leaping, and this is all going to hang around your ankle and look so, so lovely. And again, you can keep going around and add beads all the way around if you would like. This chain was meant to add things to, in my humble opinion. So let's set this one aside, and we're going to make one more beaded anklet, because this one I think it just includes some incredible beads. So I picked out some bicones, some seed beads, and some charms here. And my inspiration started with these prestige bicones. So this little vial is called Sandy Beaches. Prestige crystals are so incredible. The sparkle is amazing. So I had to work with these. And so I'm going to grab one of my little triangle trays and pour these out. This does look like all of the colors of a sandy beach. The water, the sand, the shimmer off of the water when the sun hits it. So beautiful. The beads are just amazing. And actually, you know what? These aren't bicones. I'm sorry. I'm calling them bicones. They're rounds. And they are faceted. They are shiny. They are absolutely amazing. I'm sorry. I always want to say they're bicones. But these are rounds, and they are the cutest little rounds. They are, let's see, what is the size on these? They're 4 millimeters. So these are perfection for an anklet. So I thought what we might do is take those and then use some Toho Treasures. And these are perma-finish translucent silver lined white. So these have a very luminous center to them. So we're going to use those as well. And we're going to open those guys up and pour those out into a tray as well. Oh my goodness, look at that. Wow. I mean, these are such a great spacer bead. Oh, I love them. So then I've got a trio of these incredible starfish. So I'm seeing some serious walks on the beach with these art beads, sterling silver, dotted starfish charms. These are so cool. I have a tiny seed bead attached to my finger. So cool. And they are, they're not double-sided, but they have a nice look on the concave side. So even if they were to flip around a little bit, they will still look really cool. So to prepare for this piece, we're going to string this piece, but to prepare for it, I'm going to add some jump rings to these. So we can just start stringing these on when we get to that point of our piece. So I'm just going to put on, now, if you've watched me for any length of time, you've probably heard me say this. If I can fit more than one jump ring onto a charm or a pendant, I'm going to do that because it gives you some extra stability, and it also creates a little bit more of a look of a bail. So I love that. I love the look of that. So if you want to, it's just a personal preference of mine. If you want to do that, that is one way that you can sort of level up your design. And I've got some jump rings in the show, but I think the jump rings that I put in the show may be sold out, Eric. So they are 4 millimeters. So they may be sold out, but I think there might be others out there on the site if these are sold out. So that's the second one ready to go. And then let's add 2 to the last charm. And I hope everybody's doing okay out there. If you joined the show late, we're making anklets today. This is Deb's Anklet 2.0 show. And everything that I'm working with today is in that shopping bag if you want to go take a look. And missed out on all of those shoppable icons that popped up through the show. All right, so what I'm going to use for my stringing wire here is some Beadalon 19 strand in silver. So this is a nice silver color. I'm getting low on my 19 strand here. And I'm going to work from the package normally. But today, because I want some freedom to do some designing, I'm going to cut from the package. And I'm going to cut more than I need. I know that's wasteful, but to give you guys the best experience, I want to make sure I have enough of this material to work with. So I've got probably about 1 foot of my stringing wire. Let me get all of this out of the way. I'm going to move all the extraneous pieces out of the way. So I'm going to start by adding a bead stopper to one end. And what I want to do is I want to string on my center. I got to clean up this end. I want to string on my center charm. So our charms are going to be a trio at our focal section. So the piece, the part of the bracelet that's going to be, right at the focal point of our ankle and at the outside of our ankle. So I'm going to take a couple of seed beads and my charm, and then I'm going to string on the darkest blue here, like so. So we'll look like that. Oh, the seed beads look really beautiful up against these prestige rounds. And I'm sorry, I was calling them bicones earlier. I don't know what I was thinking. I just had bicones on the brain, apparently. All right, and I'm gonna go kind of in ombre style. And I'm gonna do 2 beads in between each of my starfish because my starfish need some room to move. So we don't want them to touch each other necessarily. They might, but they're far enough apart that they're not going to get caught up on each other. Okay. Now I actually think I'm going to put another bead on, and we're going to give them even more space just because it gives a little bit of interest to have them spread out a little bit more. Maybe people will see your starfish a little better. Oh, I like that much better. So there are 2 of our starfish. Then I'm going to come around. This is kind of an inefficient way of designing this, but I just want to show you so we get our focal section right. I'm going to do the other starfish on the other side, and I'm going to start the ombre again in that direction with the same colors. So you can do this however you would like. You've got several colors in this prestige mix, and you can string this however you would like. Actually, I need to get up here a little bit further so you guys can see. And I'm doing 2 seed beads in between. You could do 1, you could do 3, you could do more if you would like. Totally lots of, design preferences there. And then let me put on 2 more seed beads. This is going to be our focal section. And oh my goodness, oops, did I string that on in the wrong direction? Let's see. Yes, I did. So let's get this right. And let's string this on next. So, oh my goodness, that is adorable. I love, so this is going to be sitting right at your ankle bone. And again, when you're sizing this out, you'll want to make sure that you have it hanging where you would like it to hang. So if you are, if you are thinking about it, you want it a little bit higher up, you might think differently about that because of the way that the charms lay. So just use, start with about a 10-inch bracelet or anklet, and then size it. And if you've cut your wire from the package, make sure you've got enough left to play with if you need a little bit more. And look, I've got the ombre of the 2 other beads. So we've got the full ombre starting right here all the way to here. And then we're going to do it going in the other direction as well. And we're going to start the ombre over. So just think about, when you're putting these together, think about your size, think about the placement of things. And if you had more of your charms, you could add more charms. You could do a full, starfish themed piece all the way around your ankle. And you can have them hanging all the way around. Now, I have experienced when I first put on an anklet. Tell me if you've experienced this, you guys. So if you put on your anklet and you're wearing it for the first time in the season, you feel like the charms kind of tickling your ankle a little bit. That sensation is a little bit hard to get used to, I think, if you haven't worn an anklet before or you haven't worn one, since the last season. So just be ready to wonder, what the heck is that on my ankle? And it's not like a spider or anything getting at you. It's just a lovely piece of jewelry around your ankle. I'm always thinking about bugs creeping around in this desert area here. So look, we've started over with our pattern. I absolutely love the sparkle of these prestige crystals, and this little prestige crystal mix is so beachy good. It is delicious, delicious, delicious. So I'm going to just get one more pattern here of the ombre, and I'm doing the darkest blue to the lightest blue. And you'll be able to see that when you're putting these together. It's hard to see the holes on these crystals because they are so shiny and because I'm trying to do it underneath a camera. But you will be able to put these together very easily. And then you're going to do your sand color and your kind of opaque white color. So good. So I think if we go up the other side now, wow, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. See the darkest one, the middle shade, and then the lightest one. And these lined seed beads are absolute perfection with this anklet. So let me put this on. Let me pop over to the other side, and we're just going to do the same pattern on this side. So we're going to grab our seed beads, and then we've got our sandy bead over here on this side, and our seed beads, and then our white bead. And you can, if you don't want a trio of charms, you could just do one. Grab one of these starfish instead of 3, or mix up those charms. So I've got all those other charms in the show that will look fantastic with any of these beads because they're just a beautiful, you know, silver color. And if you saw the show from the beginning, you may have seen that little teardrop bead that I added from one of the Art Beads mystery bags. And that was a fun thing to kind of go through and find little additions to the bracelet. Or anklet, sorry. These could also be bracelets. So I keep saying bracelet because this could also be a bracelet. If you're not into the anklet thing, that's cool. We won't shun you. You can make these as bracelets. These are beautiful bracelet pieces as well. Just take the same beads, do the same stringing, and put them together just as if you would be, you know, making a normal bracelet. I mean, it's just that simple. An anklet is really just a larger bracelet. That's really all it is. So look at how pretty. Oh my gosh. Up close, like this is so delicious. Really, 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 really good. All right. And I'm going to just add, I notice I missed a bead on the other side. So I'm going to add one more bead to the other side. And last, I'm going to just do the last of my ombre over here and get that bead on. Oops. It really is hard to see the holes on these because they are so shiny and gorgeous. So this is missing the last bead right here. All right. So here we go. This is our, oh my gosh, I love this. I had not put this together before we got together, so I did not see how gorgeous these crystals and these charms look together. So I'm going to get these out of the way. And this, you guys, is a little bit shorter than what I would like, but we're just going to do something. I want to show you what you can do if you make it too short, or if you make it short and you want to add some flexibility of sizing. So I need some crimps. And what did I do with my crimps? Here's my crimps. So I need a couple of crimps, and here is a pre-made extender chain. So in the show today, I've got these extender chains. I hope that they are still available. This is just a little curb chain with a little dangle piece on it. Now you can make your own extender chain, but if you don't want to make your own extender chain, there are some ready-made extender chains out there, and this one was available when I put the show together. It looks like they might still be available. They are stainless steel. They're 3mm curb chain with a little 2mm drop. So what I want to do here is add that little piece of extender chain. So I'm going to start by putting on my crimp tube. And then what I want to do next, now I know this maybe drives some of you crazy because you don't like this technique, but if you do like French wire, like I do, I like to use this to add a nice little accent to the end of my bracelets, necklaces, anything where you're using a crimp tube to finish up a piece. And I like the idea of sort of doing this to add a little bit more accent to my wire. So it gives it a little bit more of a substantive look. So it's got just a little bit more oomph to it. And it also gives a little bit more stability, I think, in the piece. And I've got to trim off just the tiniest end there. And so I'm going to put that on to my wire, and it's hard to see the difference because the wire is the same color, but I'm going to put that on next. And then I'm going to take my extender and add it to the last piece of chain, or the last link of chain, sorry. Then I'm going to hold my French wire and put my wire through my crimp tube and then through that end bead. And I'm going to pull that down so we've got room for our extender chain to move around. And then I'm going to come in with my crimping pliers. And I don't want to crimp that French wire. So make sure that your French wire does not sneak into your bead. Okay, so we've got our wire, French wire on, and we've got our extender chain on. So that's how it looks. If you want to do a crimp cover, you can. So that's one end of our piece. And thanks for hanging with me, you guys. We're going to do the other side now. And what I've got is that lobster claw. But where did it go? Where did that lobster claw go? That lobster claw was somewhere, and now it is nowhere. So guess what? I'm going to pop up really quickly and grab another lobster because I've got plenty. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know, it's probably right in front of me and I just don't see it. So let me grab one, and I always double check my lobster to make sure it works. Thanks for the hearts, you guys. There's my lobster. And we're going to take our piece. We're going to add our crimp tube to the other side. And I'm going to trim off the end of my wire because it's a little janky. And then I'm going to put on my French wire, maybe, if it's going to cooperate with me. I'm better with my left hand. So I need to trim off the ends. French wire sometimes makes it tough on you because it will coil at the end. So that also needs a little trim on this end. Just a little bit of a trim there, and then you can drop that on to your wire. Now the next thing is just add your lobster claw. And you want to make sure you're giving your lobster claw some room to breathe as well. So you don't want anything on an anklet, on a bracelet either, but you don't want anything on an anklet to be too tight. So I'm going to make sure I've got all the slack out of my piece, but then I'm going to wind this around as I close it up. So I'm going to come in with my crimping pliers and crimp that on. I'm going to pull my beading wire away, trim that off. Let me get all of this stuff out of the way. And this is how you get some extra length onto your anklet. So we don't know the size of our recipient. We can drop a lobster claw and an extender chain. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. And if you wanted, you could replace this little dangle with another crystal. So this is a fun anklet. Look, this is so beachy good. You need to be summer ready. This is going to get you summer ready. Ready for the summer, whether you're walking on the beach or you just want to be walking on the beach, which I want to be walking on the beach. So that's so pretty. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. So I'm going to flip the camera around because we are at the top of the hour. Look at this. Oh my gosh. I am in love with this anklet. And where's the other one we made? Here's our little dolphin dangle. And this one just takes a little bit of finessing to get everything to hang right. But look at that one. That one is so cute too. So this is a fun thing to make. And I hope that if you've not tried to make anklets before, that you will make them again, or you will try them out. Guys, there are things that are in limited supply in this show. Please check out before the end of the show. I don't want you to miss out on any of the goodies that you want to get home to you. And remember, you're going to get double your rewards points today, and you're going to get a little variety pack of Raven's Journey beads. That's going to be all wrapped up with all your other goodies. So I hope that you will take advantage of those things and get some things to make some anklets. Get some beautiful blue and green beads, all the pretty little charms that we looked at today. Here's our stretch anklet. And with your stretch anklets, guys, make sure you do a little bit of a road test on these, that they fit you, and use a little bit of glue too. I like GS Hypo Cement when I'm using stretch cord. And just make sure that you test it out a little bit before you gift it to someone so that it doesn't come apart. Follow the instructions. Here's that other one we made to go with that one. Our little sand dollar matching one. And then here's that fun one with the fish and the star and the little drop of water. This was from the mystery bag. Throw one of those mystery bags in your shopping cart as well. And thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you all. I love hanging out with the Serious Art Beaters. There are so many fun things that we do together. Don't forget to set your reminders for all of the other design team members this week. They've got some fun things for you. And I will be back next Monday for another fun show. I love you guys so much. Please go out and make something this week. Make some anklets. Make something else. I'll see you soon. Have a wonderful day, you guys. Bye-bye.